Math 1332, Chapter 7, Consumer Mathematics, Section 2, Personal Budgeting, Video 2, Calculating Monthly Take-Home Pay. For the most part, this is straightforward. You guys know what it means to calculate how much you make each month, or maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the trickiest part about this, especially when it comes to getting the answer that an online homework system is looking for, is how to convert other time frames to monthly. I'll show you what I mean. Alana works full-time as an assistant pastry chef, and she has a check for $1,255.96 direct deposited into her checking account every other Friday. What is her net monthly take-home pay? All right, so it should be noted that the amount deposited into her check is a net income, because when you get a paycheck, it almost always has your deductions already removed from your gross income. So she gets that amount every other Friday. So what is her net monthly take-home pay? Well, there's a couple of ways to approach this one, and we'll figure out which one is better. Answer number one, since a month is approximately 4 weeks, we can just double the amount to get, and let's see what we get when we double that. $1,255.96 times 2 is $2,511.92. $2,511.92, I believe is what I said. Yes. All right, so that's answer number one. But here's the problem with that. The time conversion that we used was an approximate time conversion. And what was that time conversion? That 1 month is 4 weeks. But February in a non-leap year is the only month that is exactly 4 weeks. So it's not a bad answer, but we could get a better answer by using the exact equivalencies that we have. Answer 2. And then I'll let you know which one an online homework system would probably expect, namely the one I'm using for the class I'm currently teaching while I'm making these videos. The conversion, let me widen this text box. 1 month equals 4 weeks is approximate. To get a better estimate, use exact conversions. And I want to remind you what those exact conversions were. Those exact conversions were 1 week equals 7 days. Now, this doesn't mean that she works 7 days. That means if we took her paycheck for a week and divided it by 7, that's on average how much she gets each day. Let's see, what are the other exact ones? 1 year equals 365 days. And again, even that one's not super precise on leap years, but the discrepancy is small enough that we can disregard it. And 1 year is equal to 12 months. That's non-negotiable ever since the days of Julius Caesar. So how can we use these? Because what we're given is a pay period for every 2 weeks. So in other words, the information that we're given in terms of frequency is every other Friday. So that implies once every 2 weeks. Let's type that here. We'll even type it in red because why not? Once every 2 weeks. So that's the frequency that we're given. But the frequency that we're asked about is monthly. If I can get this to go the color I want. There we go. The frequency we're asked to calculate is a monthly take-home. And so what's the problem? The problem is the relationship or the conversion between monthly and between months and weeks, I should say, is an approximate conversion. 1 month equals 4 weeks is approximate. to get a better estimate for what her monthly take-home pay would be, we should only focus on the conversions that are exact. 1 week equals 7 days, 1 year equals 365 days, 1 year equals 12 months. So how do we do that? Well, the answer is we have to use more than one conversion. The general strategy for doing these conversions using exact conversions and not approximate conversions is to convert to and from days. Because if you notice, we have an exact relationship between days and weeks, between days and years. We don't have an exact relationship between years and months, but we could build one by going days to years and then years to months. Allow me to demonstrate. This is easier to do than it is to put in words. We know that she gets $1,255.96 every 2 weeks. But how many days are in 2 weeks? 14. So if we take her pay every 2 weeks and divide it by 14, we get how much she makes per day on average. So let's divide that. $1,255.96 divided by 14 is, to the nearest cent, $89.71. Okay, so now we're at days, but remember, we want months. We don't have an exact relationship between days and months, but we do have days and years, and then years and months. So $89.71 per day means that if we took that $89.71 and multiplied it times 365, remember, this is what she gets on average per day. If we multiply $89.71 times 365, that means she makes or brings home $32,744.15 per year. So we scaled her pay down from 2 weeks to a single day, and then we scaled it from a single day to an entire year. And because the relationship between years and months is exact, now we can scale it back down to months. So $32,744.15 is how much she makes every year. And if we divide that by 12 months, then we get that she makes on average $2,728.68 per month. So it's a game of just scaling down and scaling up. When you're scaling down to a smaller time frame, you divide. When you're scaling up to a larger time frame, you multiply. So when we went from 2 weeks to 1 day, we went to a smaller time frame, so we divided. 2 weeks is 14 days. When we went from 1 day to a year, we went up to a larger time frame, so we multiplied by 365. And when we went from year to month, we went down to a smaller time frame, which is why we divided. All right, let's take a look at another one. Bradley works 40 hours per week at $13.25 per hour. Deductions for taxes and insurance are 27% of his gross income. Estimate Bradley's monthly net income. All right, so 2 things going on here. Number 1, we're told how much his gross, or we can calculate his gross income because we know how many hours he works per week and how much he makes per hour. But if we want his net income, we have to calculate and subtract the deductions. So we're going to have to calculate 27% of something and then subtract it. Then we got to scale it to monthly. All right, so let's see what we can start with. Let's start with how much he makes per week. If he makes $40 per hour, and then he makes, what am I talking about? Let's try that again. If he makes $13.25 per hour, and he works 40 hours per week. I think everybody knows you would multiply 40 times 13.25, but I want to show you something kind of neat here. It's called unit analysis. If you think of comparing units of measurements like dollars per hour, hours per week, if you think of them as fractions, then any unit of measurement on the top can cancel with any unit of measurement on the bottom. And the units that remain will give you a new comparison. In this case, we're about to calculate dollars per week. So let's just multiply those and see what we get. $13.25 per hour times 40 hours is $530 per week. We now know his weekly income, $530 per week. Now at this point, we can either deduct the 27% and then scale it to a day by going, scale it to a month. We're gonna go weeks to days to years to months again, because we're gonna use the exact conversions. Or we can take out the 27% now. The 27% is gonna invoke some decimals, so I'm gonna save that. Let's see if we can take his weekly pay and turn it into a monthly pay the same way we did before. For $530 per week, if we want to take that down to a daily, we would divide it by 7. 530 divided by 7 means that he is making $75.71 per day. And actually, I think I'm going to go back to using per instead of putting it on top like I did there. Give me 1 second to change that. Resume in 3, 2, 1. For the next example, we're going to have to do a little bit more work. Bradley works 40 hours per week at $13.25 per hour. Deductions for taxes and insurance are 27% of his gross income. Estimate Bradley's monthly net income. So like before, we're going to have to do some conversion with time units, but we're also going to have to calculate the deductions and subtract them. And we could do one of two things. We can either go from his hourly pay to his weekly pay, scale it down to daily pay, scale it up to monthly pay, and then, scale it up to yearly pay, and then down to monthly pay, and then take out the 27%. Or at any point, we can take out the 27% at the beginning, at the end, or somewhere in between. I'm going to save the 27% deduction until the end, because the hardest part about this is scaling it from the unit of measurement that we're given. The unit of measurement that we're given is per week. We're going to calculate how much he makes per week, but we need to scale that to monthly. And we can do the same thing that we did back here, where we went from, in this case, it was bi-weekly pay to daily pay to yearly pay, and then yearly back down to monthly. And remember, the reason we're jumping through all those hoops is because all of these conversions are exact, but things like 1 month equals 30 days or 1 year equals 52 weeks are not exact. You want to try to use exact conversions when possible, especially if you're doing online homework. All right, so let's start by figuring out what his monthly income is. So how would we begin that? I'm going to try to type this so that it's a little bit more readable. I will put it in red though, just so it stands out. So for our answer, let's start by taking his $13.25 per hour. $13.25, that's supposed to be a dollar sign. $13.25 per hour. And we're about to scale it to weekly. Remember, when you go from a smaller time frame to a larger time frame, you multiply. So $13.25 per hour times 40 hours per week is going to give us $13.25 times 40, $530 per week. All right, now let's take that $530 per week and bring it down to daily, because the only exact conversion involving weeks is 1 week is 7 days. All right, so $530 per week. Now we're about to change from week to day, so we're going down to a smaller time frame, which means we divide. Divided by 7 days per week is going to give us whatever that divided by 7 is. To the nearest cent, $75.71. $75.71 per day. Now we need to get it to, we need to get it to per month, but the conversion between days and months is not exact. 1 month equals 30 days is not exact. 1 year equals 365 days is exact if you can ignore leap years. So we're going from days to years. We're going from a smaller time frame to a larger, so we got to multiply to get a bigger number. So $75.71 per day times 365 days per year. And again, this isn't saying that Bradley works 365 days per year. It's just saying on average, this is what it comes out to be. 75.71 times 365. Bradley makes about $27,634.15 per year. And now we can convert it to monthly because the relationship between years and monthly is exact. 1 year equals 12 months. All right, so $27,634.15 per year. And since we're going down a time frame from years to months, we need to divide, because we need a smaller number, divided by 12 months per year. And if we divide that by 12, we finally get an answer of $2,302.85. Want to check something real quick. Actually, it's not time for me to check that that's the answer I wanted to get, because we're not done with the problem. Why are we not done? We've calculated his monthly income, but this is his monthly gross income. Remember, at no point do we take out the 27% for deductions. So for deductions, first we need to calculate how much is deducted. It's 25% of his gross income, which is 27%. Let's just put it this way. The deductions equals 27% of the gross income, which was $2,302.85. Of means multiply. We turn the 27% to a decimal. 0.27 times 2302.85 to the nearest cent is $621.77. And so his net monthly income, I'll spell it right one of these days, is his gross monthly income, which was $2,302.85, minus the deductions, $621.77, which gives us 2302.85 minus 621.77, $1,681.08 is Bradley's monthly net income. I want you to ask yourself, is that a livable income for you? If the answer is yes, great. $13.25 an hour, 27% deductions is good. If it's not, then do something to make that number higher. Higher salary, higher hourly wage, more hours per week, different job that pays higher, less deductions. Maybe you're taking out some things you don't need. All right, we're going to take a look at one more. And as if that wasn't enough, this last one has another twist. And I didn't start my timer, so I don't know how long this video is. I get the feeling it's well over 10 minutes. So we're going to make this a part 2.